Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I see a ton of you getting ready to jump in. We have day three underway, and it's been an exciting workshop so far. We've got the great Lauren Tickner that has been teaching us, coaching us, showing us new tricks and trades of the industry, as well as Cam Jared, her partner, that is in the crime with us together all the way, helping us with a lot of the automations. If you are watching for the first time for some reason today, let us know what city, region, wherever you're checking in from. We have the new client machine workshop with day three already. Can't believe it's already day three and the last day. So before we get started with some of the housekeeping items, we've had a ton of DMs and messages across the board about the offer itself. And what I want to do is just kind of share some notes with everyone of the offer. So if you're watching this and you don't have a high level account, first thing you want to do is go to this link that says gohighlevel.com/Lauren Tickner offer. Now, I'm going to pull up that link so then everybody can see what happens when you go to that link. So let's go here. I'm going to go to this link, and this is the page that you're going to land on. If you are a brand new customer that has never had an account before, meaning you've never had a 30-day trial of any kind, and you don't have your profile set up internally with us, what you want to do is click on this link that says start a free 30-day trial. Normally, we just do a 14-day trial, but with the workshop with Lauren, we're doing a 30-day trial. And then if you're already on a plan of some kind, we want you to upgrade to either the 297 or the 497 in order for you to get the snapshots. And by the way, today we're going to release the snapshots to you all, regardless of where you are. And you might be wondering, well, Paulson, what is a snapshot? Lauren asked me this yesterday. How do you explain what it is? I call it a tree. I call it a automation tree. Some people have a little flower, a shrub, and this big, humongous tree that's like massive. But I call it an automation tree where you can build out your own branches and leaves and all that with the features inside of high level, typically in the workflows where you can build out a bunch of, cool automations for if-then conditions that are triggered off of events or actions or whatever. But either way, we're going to have that release over to you based on the fundamentals of what we're teaching and have taught last 2 days. Without any further ado, Lauren, welcome back to day three. And also, Cam, let me go ahead and pin Cam as well. Cam, welcome in as well. Help us understand what we're going to learn today overall for day three.
Totally. Yeah, I'll take this one if that's okay, Cam. So, hey, Paulson, can I share my screen as well? I want to just
Oh yeah,
highlight
yeah.
that was
That
really cool.
that'll that'll be a good
Okay.
idea. Let me just
So,
make you both a co-host.
yeah, easy. Thank you so much. So, check this out, all right? So, I got tagged in some stuff on Facebook over the last about a few days, and this was just such an awesome post that was in the high level group. So, Leanne Carla Savage, that's cool,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
She said she missed half of the training yesterday because she was too busy replying to all the hands raised from the post that I suggested near the start of the call. So clearly she showed up, she did what we had advised, and look, she said I could have just left it in my notes as I'm shifting across the tech as we speak and setting it up in high level. That's her main job for next week, but instead she got on with it, and now she has more than 100 people to manually respond to and have conversations with. And she said, oh, and that was a naked text post, no graphics or photos to catch people's eyes. So you might want to make sure you catch up on the replays if you missed sessions. Join the third one today. That's now. And above all, do the things, because nodding your head and planning to get around in it in the future just isn't going to serve you. So I just
I
wanted to
love
share
that.
that just because, what we teach works and you just got to do it and you just got to stay consistent with it. So, Yeah, in case you missed the last couple days and didn't execute, then the suggestion would be make sure to execute that stuff. And of course, for your ease, all the automations are obviously going to be put into your high level accounts when you get started on the trial or upgrade, because that's what behind the scenes Cam and I have built for you when you sign up, because we're affiliates for high level here, and that's one of the bonuses that you get. So I just wanted to share that before we kick off today, because today's session is going to be all about scaling the machine. And so we've got some cool stuff that we're going to be working on today, Paulson. So
Yeah, I love that. What's funny is like those of you, so by the way, the Zoom chat is intentionally turned off. There is a link in the Zoom chat for our Facebook page. That's kind of where I'm monitoring a lot of questions and comments. And today we'll have a Q&A as well because yesterday we didn't have one, so we'll try our best to go through and rapid fire Q&A towards the end of the call. But before we get started, give us a yes in the chat if you have learned something new or if you've had some takeaways, some golden nuggets where you've had maybe an aha moment of implementation or idea that you want to go ahead and set up for yourself. Give us a yes in the chat if you've had an aha moment so far in the first 2 or 3 days. Let's see. Let's see who are the folks that are in the front of the classroom. I always love interacting with those. Yeah, there you see like David White, Uresh. Okay, let's see. Michael P. Hughes. Ida says yes. All right. Anthony. Who else? Joseph. Yeah. Deborah. Melva. Let's see who else is saying yes. A ton of you. Helena. All right. Bar. Okay, cool. Plenty of you are saying yes. We want you to interact with us as much as possible, engage with us. One, when you're the presenter, it energizes you. It gets you excited. It helps you come up with ideas. I don't know why. A bit more clear, especially when you can focus and know people are loving what you're sharing. So feel free to continue engaging with us. If you have questions, type in the letter Q or the word question, so that way I know that's a question instead of just a comment or feedback that you're providing. So Lauren, let's talk about scaling. I know you've worked with a ton of clients, and we said it yesterday, results may vary regardless of what we're teaching and sharing, but what's been your experience when it comes to scaling? Is there a certain pattern that you often see? Are there some fundamental principles that you must have in place? Help us understand your view of scaling a digital business.
Yeah, great question. I mean, today we're going to be really talking about scaling the client generating machine specifically. So, how to take what we already went through and amplify that pretty much. But when it comes to scaling generally, I mean, the key fundamental things are ultimately, do you have something that people want to pay money for? And can you deliver the thing that they paid you money for? So, simply put, like those are two very, very key fundamental things. What we're really talking about here is that process of actually getting people to raise their hand and to pay you money for a service or an offer or whatever it is that you're selling. And the really nice thing about this system and what we'll be speaking through today is it doesn't matter your business, it doesn't matter your industry, it doesn't matter which language it is that you're doing business in or the clients that you serve, as long as you're serving clients and you want to generate more clients through online mechanisms, then this is going to be really, really valuable. So, I mean, look, we could talk all day about scaling. So I guess it's probably best if I stick with what we're here to do today because yeah, very broad topic and we could
Love
go
it.
in many, many directions. But
I
yeah,
think that's fair.
for sure. For sure. So we're going to be speaking about three key things today, and we'll be showing how to do this in high level as well when it comes to number one, the offer cyclone, number two, online events, number three, paid ads. Cam is going to be supporting me in breaking some of this stuff down as well. So, Cam, if at any point you want to just like interject, please feel free, because people have probably, heard me speak enough by now. And with that said, we'll just go through in order. And yeah, guys, if you have any questions as you're here live, the fact that you're here live is amazing and it shows that you're someone who is like taking action. And so I'm totally happy to answer questions from those who are here live. So just pop the questions in the Facebook live chat. And then,
Page. Yeah.
Paulson, if you're checking that out, then yeah, just feel free, honestly, at any point to just interrupt me. So if that's okay, without further ado, we'll just get straight into it. So yeah, let's go for it. Cool. So let's talk about the offer cyclone first. So first of all, what is the offer cyclone? So we spoke a lot over the last couple of days about how to get people and leads to raise their hand, right? Now, here's the thing. As time goes on, of course, not all of those leads today or tomorrow are gonna buy from you right now. And so what we want to be able to do is we want to be able to consistently reach back out to the people that have raised their hands in the past. And again, yesterday we kind of briefly touched upon like how to add tags and have a long-term hit list so that you can follow up with people. But of course, you need to know what to say to those people as you are reaching back out to them. So essentially, what it is that every single month, for anyone that's raised their hand and expressed interest in working with you before, you reach back out to them with a new offer. Okay. And I just want to make something really clear because I feel like there's a bit of like a misconception about an offer. When we say offer, we don't mean a package. When we say offer, we don't mean a product. When we say offer, we don't mean a service. Because I don't want you to get confused and think that you need to like rebuild a whole entire new service when I say new offer. An offer is simply just the bridge between the thing that you sell and the people, right? It's essentially the marketing message that you put out to the people to get them to raise their hand and say yes. So you can think about many different ways to present the thing that you sell. And those many different ways that you present the thing that you sell is just different offers. So it's different angles. And the great thing about marketing is that you can always be testing different offers, different angles, different ways of presenting the thing that you're selling. And so what works really well with the offer cyclone is every month you think of a new offer, a new way of presenting the thing that you sell to your audience. So the people who you have on your list, on your long-term hit list, and you make the offer to them. Okay. And it gets them to re-raise their hand and to essentially revive old leads who in the past, for some reason or another, didn't buy and maybe they were moving house. Maybe they were already working with someone on the thing that you do. Maybe, there could be endless reasons why they didn't work with you right then and there. However, when you stick to the offer cyclone and once a month you reach back out to all of them with an offer, then of course you increase the chances of likelihood of actually generating new clients. So there's a few ways that we can do this and how to come up with different offers each month. And so the easiest and simplest way to do that is if I was to ask you right now, what are the most common problems and pains that you're hearing in sales? And what are people saying that they're struggling with? Okay. Because remember yesterday we spoke about keeping the list of pains and problems. Well, if you are always keeping track of the pains and problems that people are saying that they have when you're on those quick 10-minute impact calls with them, you have a never-ending list of ideas of what your offers could be. Okay. So we'll look at this in a second. But essentially there are a couple different ways that we execute the offer cyclone. We keep our long-term hit list. Again, we'll show you how to do that in high level. And then also you can send out an email to your list. So for a moment now, I want you to pause and just think about the most common problems that your prospects are telling you that they have. And you can reach out to them. Literally, you could just say, are you still struggling with pain? So whatever it was that they told you before, that was their pain and problem. You can reach back out to them saying, are you still struggling with whatever problem they said? That's it. You just send a one-on-one message to anybody that's on your long-term hit list saying that. And then when they come back, then you can invite them on to a quick 10-minute impact call with them and you just take them down your normal sales process, right? It doesn't need to be complicated. However, it's really key that you are tagging inside of high level the people, like your prospects, with the fact that they're on the long-term hit list so that they get the offer. Okay. You could also say, are you still looking to outcome? Okay, so whatever it was, that goal that they told you that they had before, you reach back out to all of them saying, are you still looking to outcome? So I just want to get a pulse right now. Who's gonna go back to any old sales calls that you've had, any leads that you've had chats with before? If you're gonna reach back out to those people, type reach out into the chat because I'm super curious to know who's actually going to reach back out to their old leads, because this is something that's really simple and easy to do, but it just takes a bit of time. You might have to sit down on your laptop or phone for like an hour or two reaching back out to all these people, but it's going to be amazing how many additional conversations you get going. So have a sip of
I
water.
see I see a bunch of people saying they're gonna reach back out, reach back out, reach back out.
Cool. And so
Um,
today, obviously, the date that we're filming this is what, the 10th of the month. So you did it on the 10th of the month this month. Put it in your calendar as a recurring thing that you do on the 10th of every month. Because the thing is, you have to do this consistently each month. So all you do, okay, we'll talk about the actual offer part in a second. But the first thing is that you reach out with a new message each month. Are you still looking to outcome? So are you still looking to add Invisalign as a service to your dental practice? Okay, we use that example a lot this week. Are you still looking to generate coaching clients from social media? Are you still looking to get more customers to your, get more customers to your pub with Facebook ads, right? Are you still looking to outcome? Whatever the outcome was that they said that they wanted before, literally take the words that they said and put it there. That's one way to get the conversation going. Okay. The second way to do it is asking them, are you still struggling with pain? Whatever they said that their problem was. So, are you still struggling to install an Invisalign service into your dental clinic? Are you still struggling to get clients from social media? Okay. Um, Another way you could do it is when we spoke before, you were looking to outcome. Are you still working on that? That's again another way that you can frame it. The goal here is that we get the conversation going. Now, if you have leads who are a bit warmer, but they just didn't close for whatever reason, and you know that they want something from you, you can go with a direct offer, and this is where the offer cyclone component comes in. Okay, so essentially you would just say, name, right? So whatever their name is, I'm opening up our, and then whatever your offer is for Avatar. So I naturally thought of you. What are 2 times you're available to chat today or tomorrow to see if it could be a fit? So for example, I could say like, Poulsen, I'm opening up a dental clinic, um, dental clinic system for dentists who want to add Invisalign to their practice. So I naturally thought of you. Okay. What are 2 times you're available to chat today or tomorrow to see if it could be a fit? That's if I knew that you already had like an intent specifically to the offer that I'm selling. Okay. So it's pretty simple, this first part, but it's just a consistent practice to do every month. And so I think, Cam, if it's okay, if you could show sort of how we would do this in high level, maybe with that test contact that we had, if you want to just like share inside of the contacts tab, because essentially what we do is we just go into the contacts, we filter by tag, and then we show all the people who are on our long-term hit list, and we just reach back out to all of them. And it's really nice as well because in the, maybe I need to stop sharing so that you can, but in the contact notes, you can simply keep notes about that prospect. So what we often do is we just write notes in the little section. I'll show you when Cam's sharing his screen, I'll show how it's done.
Yeah.
But essentially in the top right, we keep notes relating to that yeah, we keep notes relating to that prospect. Yeah. So
And
Can
as
you
he's,
guys
Cam
see
is,
my screen?
yeah,
yeah,
we can see.
we see your
Yep.
screen. Yep.
Cool. Perfect. So, Lauren, I don't know if you want to go through the email copy that we've put on the slides for the offer cyclone as well. Obviously
Yep.
we can share that afterwards. So I'll just run through now how we execute on this for like, actually sending it out, leveraging high level. So it's basically, as Lauren said, we're trying to trigger that conversation, and we do it first and foremost via email. But I think we talked yesterday about having multiple touch points with any contact. So you can send this as well as an SMS blast. You can send it as a message one-to-one on Facebook or Instagram. But if you have like a bigger list, that can sometimes take a lot of time. So hitting them on email and SMS is usually kind of the more leveraged way of doing it. So under marketing, we're going to emails and campaigns. Hopefully it loads. Create campaign. And then we usually just do this as a simple blank one. I know Lauren talked about doing this, how we would make this look as personal as possible. So the goal is obviously for it to feel like it is a personal message. So I usually go through this and I'll edit it so the background is white, and then you just write it as if you were writing an email to someone that you know. And these can work out better if they are or they feel more informal. So, Lauren, do you want to just say what you said? Uh, are you still struggling
To get
with?
clients from social media. It could just be something if that's what all of you this if that's what you solve for all of your clients, it's whatever what is it that you do with your clients and what's the most common pain points and problems that you hear. Yeah, exactly. It can just be as simple as that. Yeah. Literally, if that's the language that you use, for sure.
Yeah, I think it has to be obviously relevant and authentic to you. If you speak in quite a casual way, as you know, Lauren is quite casual, fun, friendly. So we usually write emails as she speaks, and that's always going to connect with people better. And then it's literally a case of sending it, setting your sender email, send a name, and then your recipients will use send to a smart list, and then this will be able to choose our hit list. So we can send it to everyone on the hit list, or if we have a long-term hit list, we can do that as well. We don't have this on this account currently, but it will come up here. If you wanted to send it to just a handful of contacts, you can choose contacts individually. And then you can also choose just tags here as well.
Yeah. And then the other thing, Cam, in the contacts tab, sorry, the conversations tab. So this is where it's really, really sort of key. So in that little filtering section in the conversations, you can filter. Yeah, so it depends how you've done it, but like if you've assigned them to yourself as well, something that we like to do is assign them to ourselves if they're a hit list lead, and then you can just hit that and anyone that you've assigned to yourself will pop in there. So yeah, I mean, obviously, this is a test account just for the sake of showing the features for like data protection. But that's how you could filter through and then just manually reach out to everyone simultaneously. Yeah, here in the contacts, you can also, that's another way of finding anybody. And yeah, Cam's right now just showing where the notes, you keep the notes about your prospect. So if you make sure that you're making the most of that section with the contacts tab, we always keep their problems and their goals there because then you can make a personalized offer. So once a month, as well as sending like the offer email out, we will also go through the entire hit list, which right now for us has, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people on there per setter on our team. So our setter will then go through their entire hit list and reach back out with a personal message. They do that over a few days period because it's literally now we have so many that we can't do it all in like an hour, and that's what will happen, right? And that's what happens as you scale. So I'm just kind of showing you how you can potentially consider doing this as you scale and why using high level now in the way that we teach it is like really important for generating clients online, because you're going to set yourself up to be able to scale into this. So obviously I know sometimes like people are like, oh, that sounds so far off and I'm really far away from that, but like things can scale much more quickly than you'd think, and you'll be really stressed if you see that there's tons of opportunity that you're not making the most of, because if you were to plug a couple of setters into this, and if they were doing this once a month to, like, let's say each of them 400 leads, I mean that's 800 leads that are being contacted with a personalized offer. And I can tell you now, the personalized offer obviously does bring in way more responses. So we just wanted to share that, and like using the contacts tab and keeping the pains and problems and the goals of the prospect in that little contact information section is super powerful, because then when you go into the conversation, you can see really, really clearly how to customize the offer, which is just a quick message saying like, are you still struggling to get reach with your Instagram reels, right? If that's specifically what the lead said, we just insert there what the lead said was their problem. And then it's more likely to get a response than a kind of broad blasted message. So just wanted to share that to begin with, just to kind of get into this, okay?
And I
Um,
love that. And you guys add people to to the list by using the tagging system, right? Like it's
for the tags.
basically a hit list. So like, do you have um a monthly hit list, like you have one for April or March, or are those like different tags, or is it just the same tag that you kind of refresh and replenish every single month?
So we have two tags that we use for hit list. The first tag is an active hit list right now. So that's someone that we have the goal of scheduling them into an impact call as soon as possible. So those are people who they need to basically like that they're responsive now. They've come in from an offer. They've told us they have a problem that we can solve. We know that they're a good fit to work with us. And so our team are just working on following up with those people all the time to get them booked in for a 5 to 10 minute quick call to qualify them. Obviously, if they're not qualified, we take them off the hit list and we don't add them to the long-term hit list. If they're qualified, they'll get scheduled onto an actual sales call with our team. Now, some of them who are qualified, they say, no, it's not a good time. We don't want to speak right now, but let's follow up in the future. Or let's just see if ever I need to work with you guys, I'll keep you in mind, right? They say vague things like that. We don't necessarily, like, we don't believe in like trying to, you know, push people to try and work with us right now. It doesn't make sense. And it's not a good look in my opinion. So instead, rather than pushing them, that we'll be like, okay, yeah, sure, no problem. And in the meantime, I'll send you this and this for free to help you get to where you want to be. So we'll send them some free stuff. And then we add a long-term hit list tag to their name. And that's the only other tag that we use. So we take off the other hit list tag and we add long-term hit list because we know that they're qualified to work with us. And sometimes we add people who are not qualified fully, but they qualify on like the majority of our qualification points. And we still add those guys to our long-term hit list because if we follow up in a month, they might be qualified by then. If we follow up in 2 months, because we're following up with the long-term hit list every month. And then essentially how it works is that each setter on our team, and again, I shared this part because this is something to consider as you scale. And so a lot of our clients do this as well, where they have, you know, various setters on their team. Every setter on their team is then assigned the leads. And so what that means is that everyone with that tag is followed up with once a month, and the setters have their own personal leads to follow up with each month was the personal offer. So that's kind of essentially how we do it. And yeah, like using high level is really, really key for that because also it allows for, you know, pipeline management and consistently following up with all the leads. And so then this is an email copy that everyone can send right now, and Cam just showed how to send it out. But essentially here would be an example of how we could actually get an offer out right now today on top of doing the one-on-one reach outs, because the one-on-one reach outs are really, really key. It will bring in some type of buyer, and then the email copy will bring in another type of buyer. And so when we do this, we're hitting people from all the different types of angles because different people buy differently. Like there are some people, like we actually sent one out to our list today, and we've seen people come in from this who I often, even though there's a lot of people, you know, in my audience, like I kind of see a lot of names all the time, but it's been really interesting. The email that we sent today, I've never seen any of these names before. And so we've now literally packed our calendar for the next more than a week. And it's super interesting because as I look through the calls coming through, I'm like, literally never seen these names. So it's just interesting how it can happen where certain emails will revive people in your audience that you didn't even know they were there. So this is an email that we sent recently. I think we sent this one last month and it performed really well. So I'd recommend sending it. So the heading is Let's Talk One-on-One. And then the copy is designed for high levels specific, you know, code. Do you call it code? I don't know. So the contact first name thing basically changes it out for it to be their name. So if I received that email, that little snippet thing would say Lauren. If Cam opened his email, it would then say Cam. And it would basically just say, Cam, I've opened up a few spots on my personal calendar this week for those who want to, and then, you know, insert the outcomes that you take your clients to. I left these exact examples that we used because, to be honest, I see some people trying to write outcomes and it is just like really wordy. And so if you just look at how few words we have put in our email, this email generated very like above average responses for us, which is why we specifically share this with you. But like, how do you qualify your people, right? So first of all, we said deliver world-class results for their clients. For us, it's way easier to work with people who get great results for their clients. So we specifically call that out. So for the first line, I would ask you, what is a really, really good client for you? How, if you get a client through the door, what would make it really a lot easier for you to get them results? Okay, so just think about that in your first line. Second thing is their want. Okay, so what do they want to do? So literally just type that down and make it really the most powerful, poignant want. So for example, want to build an authority brand which attracts lead sales and clients online. Again, super to the point. If someone doesn't want to build a brand, it's going to push them away. That's great. So what are the wants that your prospects have? Make that really, really clear. Don't go features, go outcomes. Don't go want to launch Facebook ads, go want to get more clients through the door into your facility. Okay, don't go features, go outcomes, really clear. And then third, are ready to invest in a hyper profitable social media sales system. Okay, it's kind of blunt, but at the end of the day, it's going to get the right people to raise their hand. So are ready to invest in, what is it? What's the system that you offer? Put that there. And then all you do is say, if that's you, just reply saying me, and I'll reply to you about the next steps. Looking forward to seeing your name on my calendar. Sign off with your name, and then the PS at the bottom is really key. It says, PS, we've seen time and time again that the best results come from healthy communication. So please be ready to respond back to us quickly once we start talking. And then you send the email out, and you'll start getting people to reply saying me. So let's give this a go. Send this email out right now, and let's hear about the results very soon in the high level group, because we already saw some results earlier from what we did yesterday. So now's another opportunity for you to get this out there and to start generating results. And here's the really amazing thing about high level, okay? Here's what's happening. So I told you earlier today, we started sending out an email very similar to this, and within literally minutes, we had replies. And guess what Marianne is doing? Mariana's sort of like my right hand, right? Mariana, because we're using high level, she starts phoning them, right? So Cam, sorry to be a pain, but could you just do me a favor and share your screen just to show how frigging powerful this part is? This part is so amazing because essentially all that happens is someone starts replying to your emails here. And, if you have their phone number, there's just a little phone button that pops up. So yeah, if we just pop a random email, yeah, exactly. A little phone icon pops up, and you can start dialing them. And sometimes I have a bit of fun myself. I can't lie. It's one of my hidden joys of running a business and also maybe being a social media person. I sometimes just phone people up, and they're like, oh my gosh, is it really you, Lauren? And I'm like, yeah, it's me. I hit my CRM too. Like, I'm hitting the contacts on high level. People reply. And then I phoned someone as well this morning, and this guy in Australia, I had a chat to him for a while, and now he's going to be having a conversation with my sales team next week.
Yeah.
And so
I
it
think
was
Cam, I think you have to save the number. I don't think you saved the number after you had punched it in.
It's that account doesn't have any
Oh,
phone
Twilio
numbers attached
numbers.
to it, so it won't let me do it. So I'm just
Got it.
in the background pulling up my
No
own.
worries. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Lauren. Keep going.
no,
You
that's
love
cool.
you
So
love
what I'm
calling the
basically
people, basically.
Well, what I'm saying is when someone replies to an email, it just pops up to the top of the conversations tab in high level. And then if you already have their phone number, you can just phone them. And then you can qualify them with the perfect framework that we went through yesterday. And then you can schedule them onto a full sales call. And again, yeah, here we go. Cam's got it up now. So yeah, you just hit that little green button, and oh sorry, Cam, now the world has your phone number. But
It's not my actual number. It's all good. I made sure I got the yeah.
Okay, cool, perfect. So yeah, so essentially you just phone up, and then it's all just done straight through there. And the nice thing about this, again, we're talking about scaling here, like you can then quality control your team, because you can see the call recording in that, right? Because again, high level is a CRM. So for example, as Mariana starts phoning people, we have also a sales manager who will go in and do this, but she'll open the contacts tab and start listening and press play and listen to the call recordings. She'll be like, hey, Mariana, like I heard the first 5 seconds of this call and you sounded like super confused and you weren't being convicted. So we really need to work on that part of the script. And then you can just jump through and like compare it to the script and say, hey, like, at 2 minutes into this call, you were totally off script. And no wonder why this guy didn't want to get on a sales call. He said all these excuses, but his excuses just came from your lack of certainty and your lack of clarity in the words that you were saying. So then that's how, either you in the beginning, for me, this was me for ages. And then obviously as you scale again further, you can have a sales manager quality controlling that stuff, allowing you to feel at ease knowing that the things that you're doing are the right things. And so that's why doing everything in high level instead of using your WhatsApp or your phone and just letting your team do whatever they want, it's just a way more robust way to scale your business. Okay, so I just share
Yeah.
that because it's really powerful when you use the system that we're sharing. So again, I strongly would encourage you to at least try the free trial. We can pop the link again into the chat, and whichever platform it's on, it's going to be in the descriptions and stuff, because it's really just a robust infrastructure. And like I said in the beginning, I tried a ton of different softwares and tools all the time before, but having everything all in one place for high level is how we're able to build like a really like a scalable infrastructure that's is just much more robust. So yeah, I just
Yeah.
wanted to share that.
Thank you for that, Lauren. And by the way, we didn't ask Lauren to say any of these things. This is just from practical like businesses and experience that she has that she's going down this consolidated route.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Cam, can you share your screen one more time? That same the CRM, I mean the context that you pulled up. One of the cool things on high level that I think people don't often see on these workshops or webinars is the activity log. So on the right side, there's a list of activities that happened to that contact. So right here, it seems like there was maybe a form and a landing page was visited multiple times, but you'll see different types of layers. Like you'll see an indication that says this person came from an Instagram DM that then messaged on a phone number, then they went to your email, then they landed on your main website, then they came to your landing page. You'll see differentiated pathways of how certain types of leads will go through different client journey. And this activity log on the right side is basically your client journey. So when you're setters or closers are on a call, they can simply just be like, "Hey, I noticed you downloaded our 7 steps to success as a course creator or a dentist. What did you think about that?" Right? Now your conversation is like, "Oh, snap, like these people were on top of me and watching what I was doing, but I love that they're interested in my world that much for them to even notice that I downloaded a PDF that they had." So like this activity log is not something that I often see on a demo or a workshop like this because we usually don't pull up real accounts. So Cam, thanks for having yourself as a lead in Lauren's world there so we can see this. And then you can see the conversations itself, right? Across multiple months and ranges, even if it's a couple of years old, you can see all those conversations and different things on top of the activity logs. Lauren, do you guys use the activity log for any additional things, or is that a thing that y'all, help us understand how you look at it?
Yeah, so like Cam and I, every week we get on a call and we just discuss marketing stuff. And so primarily when it comes to like tracking to see if people come from organic or ads, that's where we're looking at this. Also just on the note though that you had mentioned, and Cam, maybe you can speak a bit more about the activity logs in a second, but regarding Coulson, just while it's top of mind for me, I don't want to forget. So one of the things that is really, really like ninja, I'd say, that we like to do. And again, this is one of those things where it's like allocation of resources. Where's the best place to allocate resources with, the infinite amount of time that we, like the management on our team have. But something that we do, and also we've really ramped this up recently, is when someone's opting into a funnel, obviously the activity log there you can see, or if you can see if they've clicked a link in an email. And so we pay attention to prospects who are like clicking links in emails, opting into new funnels, and then we'll phone them. Okay. And then we'll like literally phone up to their phone and then be like, "Hey, I saw that you just clicked the link in the email." Or, "Hey, I saw that you just signed into this training. Like, did you get what you were looking for?" And the people are just so amazed by this. And it's really nice because then we can just have a quick conversation with them and either do a qualification with them right then and there to get them onto an actual sales call. Or we can, if they don't have any time, then they book in for a quick 5 to 10 minute session. And it's really cool because people are super grateful for it. And again, like I'm just sharing this stuff to hopefully have our audience here understand, like, even if you're not that level yet, like don't feel overwhelmed, just feel excited about the fact that like, what you're doing now will scale. And it's just a great way for you to get things built really nicely, from the ground up. And I'm seeing some questions like from people, asking how can I potentially like do some of this like more scaling stuff. And one of the key things is, you guys also have a really great Facebook group for this as well, but you can hire like a virtual assistant to specifically help you with these activities. That would be something that I would really recommend is as you are thinking of scaling and adding more complicated automations as the business owner, your time can probably be better spent on other activities. And so if you know what you want though, that's the key. Like you have to have the vision and know what you want. So I share this stuff to give you some idea and clarity on the things that you could tell someone that you want, and then you can hire them as a virtual assistant to come in and actually help specifically with the tech integration, just in case it feels like a bit confusing. And there's you guys have a high level jobs network Facebook group
Yeah.
where you
We
can I
also, yeah, we
yeah.
also launched a certifications program, I think about a month and a half ago, where
Oh,
we certify and proctor folks that want to get certified, and it's pretty hard to get certified through us. So it's like I think a 2 hour project that they throw at you, and somebody watches you on Zoom. There's like it's pretty hectic and heavy, but the good thing is certified admins come out of it, and we have kind of verified their skill set, and then you can go into our directory. I think it's directory.gohighlevel.com or something, where you can kind of negotiate deals or hire somebody for $5 an hour versus $5,000 a project. There's all kinds of ranges of people globally there that can kind of that you can choose and pick from. But our certification program is brand new. We launched it like this quarter. Everybody's excited about it. And Jobs Network, like Lauren said, you can find a ton of people who are not certified as well. It doesn't mean they can't do the job. It just means you got to do your own like verification of their with their competency, I would say.
yeah.
Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Awesome, cool. Yeah, so just wanted to share that stuff just yeah, to give some context. And so I want to know who sent the email out. I'll share my screen again just once
Yeah,
more. Who has already sent that email out? And if you haven't, then it will be time to get that out right now. So with that in mind, don't necessarily want to spend forever going over that one specific email. Just 1 second while I share my screen properly. Here
sure.
we
And
Can
go.
as
I,
she's pulling, oh,
Lauren,
go ahead, Cam. Go ahead, Cam.
I was just going to add a point, just based off of a comment I saw on the chat with the email. Someone mentioned about putting links in the email for a calendar as opposed to a conversation. And I don't know, Lauren, whether you want to just touch on why we go for the conversation more as opposed to the calendar and how it's ultimately a bit more personal.
Yeah, I mean, you can test both. But the reason why this one is how it is just because if you right now want to generate clients, the way in which you can make it easier for yourself is lowering the amount of effort that it takes. So you'll find that you will have significantly more people reply to an email than just go ahead and book a call straight away. So if you have a really engaged list, like I was on a call with my clients a week or two ago. One girl, Elle, she has a list of 2,000 people, and but we were on a call for about an hour, and by the end of it, she'd already got 7 calls booked. But it was actually with this exact email. Because people had replied saying me, and then she replied back and booked them in. Another guy, Chris, he has a bit of a bigger audience actually, but his email list isn't huge. I think around 3 or 4,000. Um, I told you guys yesterday, but he had like double his biggest revenue months, like or week, sorry, that he'd ever had. Also from sending out an email, not this same email, but an email just like this. And he did put the link into the email because his audience is like very, very engaged. But the only thing was with that is that, if you don't have like a super engaged audience, then potentially it's not the best thing to do. So it just depends where you're at. We test both because remember, not everything is black and white. Like so you can test things. Like that's the thing. Marketing is really just testing. And I know it can be really easy to get into this sort of like fixed mindset, like things must be a certain way. I've definitely fallen into that trap myself in the past. But at the end of the day, we just got to test because testing is really the key. And then also we're able to take sort of, some ownership over the outcome. Because I wouldn't want you to just think that this is like the only email that you could ever send. You can like change this and tweak this and test different things. I know this works, but obviously if you want to go kind of test some stuff, go ahead, go for it. I would encourage you to do so. And so yeah, just some proof like that this works. This was Mariana's calendar. Just from the offer cyclone. I think this one was last week, just to give you some clarity on like how many, calls that this really can get booked in. These were just, I think this was just 2 days. Hang on, let me see my screen. Yeah, that was 2 days of last week or the week before. I don't know which day that was actually. Doesn't say, does it? But yeah, so it can get like a lot of calls booked from dead leads, right? People who had gone cold. So now let's talk about online events. Unless, Paulson, are you seeing any questions about the offer cyclone or anything that you want to go
Yeah,
over?
no, I say we keep going and then we'll go into Q&A and where we can answer as many questions as I possibly can. I just want to help, kind of help layer out the fundamental basis of scaling.
Okay, awesome. Let's do it. Yeah, so when it comes to online events, we've seen time and time again that live webinars lead to new clients. We're on a live webinar right now. So here's the way that this works, okay? So we spoke about the impact call system yesterday. Now, the impact call system is like a bolt-on to anything that you do. So let's say you have a landing page for people to register for a live webinar with you, a workshop, an online event, however you want to call it, even if you're doing like a 3-day challenge, whatever. We honestly don't find like there's too much of a difference between whether it's like a 1 hour webinar or a 3-day event when it comes to ad testing. You guys might see different. Do you see, obviously we're doing a 3-day one now. Like, Paulson, do you have
Yeah.
data on? Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if any of you have heard. I've shared this in other events and webinars and trainings. There is in principle of marketing, there's something called air cover. Air cover is like the old ways of like, I don't know if in Europe if this is like a thing or not for y'all, but like in America, you'll see like a blimp in the sky where they'll have
Oh
like
yeah.
a blimp just like fly around like a certain zip code, okay? And it's like you look at the ad on it and it's like, oh my God, why would they waste money on just like one word or a sentence that just says, I don't know, high level. That's it. Just high level with a logo, no call to action, no nothing. It's a little, little thing that hangs behind the blimp and it just goes around a certain zip code. And then what a lot of these companies do is map out that zip code and then put like foot soldiers underneath that zip code to go knock on doors, right?
Mm.
So people don't realize that the air cover is what creates the efficiency for the direct response. So for us, when we do these live events, we see this as air cover. Like hundreds and thousands of people watch this. We get thousands of replays. We get thousands of opt-ins. I mean, even the 5-day challenge, we have thousands and thousands of opt-ins. But when we then run lead gen specific direct response ads to that kind of an avatar, they convert like crazy because they're like, you know what? I've watched Paulson for 3 workshops now. I think I'm gonna try something now at this point because so many people are talking about it. So that's really the way we look at it is air cover versus direct response. And that, that's what works in, I guess, corporate marketing in a sense. Local business, you don't need that heavy of an air cover. You just need the direct response as relevant often. And you don't have to waste money on branding outside of maybe personal branding, if I would say. But yeah, that's the way we look at it.
Makes a ton of sense. Yeah, it's also about, period of time that they've spent with you. I think that's super key because, for example, there's always going to be like that 1% of customers that's ready to buy right now, no matter what. And they don't even need to consume the free thing. And the interesting thing that we found is like typically, and this is for the clients that we work with for anyone on watching this right now, maybe you're in a different spot. But I guess I would ask you, like, are your best clients people that are busy or are they people that have a ton of free time, right? Neither's right and neither's wrong. But if the majority of your clients are those that are really, really busy, that's personally a lot of the people that I work with, business owners, they probably aren't going to actually spend time watching an entire like 3-day event or an entire like live webinar, or maybe they really want to but they just can't get the time in their schedule for it. And that's quite common, especially if you're B2B. If you're B2C, and you're working with like, moms or fitness or like something to do with, relationships or something, people kind of are happy to like skimp out on their job to listen to your thing. Or if you're biz op or something, you can probably get away with getting more people to show up live to stuff. Again, it's just from what we've seen from the clients that we work with, right? And so if that's you, and I saw there was a ton of agencies watching this, then what you can do is you can actually bolt on the impact call system onto an invitation for a live event. So for example, when somebody opts in with their name, email, and phone number on the landing page, and then instead of taking them to like, thanks, you're registered, well, you have their full attention right then. So Cam's showing an example now. Thanks, Cam. So for example, whether it's a live event or even if it's just a freebie, what happens is someone lands on an opt-in page. Okay. So then they put their name, email, phone number, and then the thank you page then invites them to book their scale session because you have their attention right then and there. So this is a way that as you think about your marketing and expanding your lead gen and adding more lead gen forms, as if you want to be running ads or running organic promos or anything that you're doing online, any opt-in form that you have, putting the impact call on the thank you page is going to ensure, and if you optimize for even just 5%, well, if you have 100 people opting in and you get 5 out of those 100 to then book a call with you right then and then, 5% is a really reasonable opt-in to be striving for, then you can massively increase your opportunities in order to generate clients online, okay, and have more prospects to be qualifying. Plus, the other thing is obviously we spoke a little bit before about how as you see new people opting in with that sort of activity track, well, you can start phoning up because you'll have their phone numbers. You can phone up all the people who have opted in, and if they didn't already schedule their impact call, you can invite them to do so. So essentially, if I just get my screen back here, what we're trying to encourage you to do is to put the impact call system onto any of your funnels. And obviously we'll put that in the snapshot for you. Now, well, how do we do that? Like what's the process to do that? So, well, the first part is really simple, okay? Anytime you run an online event on the thank you page, instead of just telling them, hey, thank you, use the impact call invitation. I gave you the script as well yesterday of like what that video should say and everything. And then just try and get people before, because you can't expect them all to show up to the live webinar. All you're doing then is using that to attract attention to then get the best quality prospects who are ready to buy right now to book an impact call with you. And then obviously for those that need more time with you, they can watch the replay, they can show up live, etc. Maybe they don't even buy now and that's okay, right? But they've spent some more time with you so that then next time in the future when they opt into something else, because you'll find people opt in again and again and again and again before they buy. Some people just need more time with you. Then let's just say it's like the third time that they opt into your thing. And then boom, they land on the page that invites them to the impact call and they're like, yes, now's the time. They might have even barely not even noticed that before because they just weren't in a buying behavior. So that's essentially what I wanted to go over here when it comes to online events. Because I know I just want to be conscious that we went over for time yesterday and I know we still have quite a lot to go through now. So when it comes to online events, I think I'm going to leave it at that. Because if I go into the whole session on how to execute online events, I probably won't have enough time.
Yeah. And matter of fact, we do have other workshops where we've taught people how to do online events. We have webinar workshops we've done. Take a look at some of those to get some ideas. And just to kind of close out the notes on online events, like there is a rule in marketing called no pathways in marketing should lead into a dead end, right? No pathways. And what that means is like if you are pushing people to a thank you page, that shouldn't be the last place they go to. It shouldn't be a dead end. You should have a call, a calendar. Worst case scenario, you should push people back to a channel like your YouTube channel or your social media channels or another strategy or another PDF or something where you're not ever taking the traffic and just ending their pathway to you. Because now what do they have to do? They have to now find a new entryway to your world again, right? They got to now explore and figure out, oh, what else Paulson have? Let me go opt in there. So like you're putting a lot of pressure on the traffic to find you, right? So never have a dead end in a marketing pathway, regardless of where you take them. Even if you don't have a call set up, an impact call bolt on, take them to your social channels, take them to a Facebook group, take them to a community, take them to a channel of some kind. Worst case scenario, take them to a resource around the relevant topic. Maybe you're teaching about AI, push them over to somebody else's channel that's talking about AI. So now you just look like you're resourceful at least. Okay. Let's go through the third item. I know we talked about the first two. I think you had one more, right?
Yeah, Cam, real quick, because I know that the online event funnel and automations and everything in the snapshot, would you be okay just to, because I know you showed it briefly, but if you could just show the back end of that, so that everyone can also know, like, once they get the snapshot, how they can actually use it, that would be super helpful. Yeah, so let me just stop
Sure.
sharing. There you go.
Cool. So you can see this okay?
Yep.
Yeah, perfect. So the online events funnel is actually a really simple funnel. As Lauren said, you can bolt this onto anything. It's pretty much this confirmation page is the main page that you'll be able to duplicate once you have it in your account. Obviously, if you add a new page to any funnel, you can quite easily just copy based off of the one that's already in your account. So you don't have to redesign it, rebuild it. It's very easy to copy them across, which is great. But it's just 3 pages. So we've got the opt-in page, which is this page, and then the confirmation, which is the cool page. And then we obviously have the actual training page. So this is an evergreen version. We drive traffic to this nonstop, so it is always available. And we send that via a very simple automation. So when they opt in, they get tagged with that source of Evergreen Lead Gen Workshop. So again, when the setter team are calling them, they have context as to what they've opted in for, and they can, check, have you managed to watch it? Usually the answer is no, and then they can move them through the process. We then create the opportunity on the CRM, and then we just have a simple 3-part email sequence, which is confirmation with the link. Here you go. Also, if you're looking to do this, you can book a session. So we send people back. Second email, again, very straightforward. We keep these very simple. Not sure if you got this, add the link, and then we're asking open-ended questions. What kind of clients do you work with currently? So these questions are, you've probably figured out that a big part of what we do is just to drive conversations. So we are always looking for opportunities to start that conversation and get people engaged so that we can then move them in steps towards either the impact call or like consuming the next thing. And then the final email is literally kind of like what we were talking about earlier, is getting more of a certain outcome priority for you right now. And then that's it. After that, they just go on to the normal newsletter, and they'll continue to get content from Lauren's Instagram or socials, and via the normal newsletter as well.
Yeah. And something super key, just to note on, is instead of thinking about your list and your social media and your ads as all like segmented stuff, it all adds to each other. So a conversation Cam and I are having all the time is like obviously attribution, right? And like, how can we attribute where this lead specifically came from? And Paulson, you asked earlier, like, how are we using the activities log, right? And we're just often finding that there is never a black and white if this then that correlation. What will literally for pretty much any client that we've ever had, because our organic is so strong. I'll just kind of, maybe if I just share my screen, like I'll show an example of sometimes like how this could work, just to give you some context of like why having quality content on every platform is really, really valuable. So I was speaking to one of our clients lately. Hang on, I'll just show you. And I said to her, I was like, how did you actually find us? And I'll just share my screen for a second. Okay, so she came in. Let's pull this up here. Right. She came in by finding one of these like, lead gen posts from my social media, right? So let's just say it was this one. I don't know exactly which one it was, but she commented on the post and she landed in my DMs. So I could have easily just thought that she had come from an Instagram post. Okay, now what was really interesting that she told me is that she typed into YouTube how to get clients from social media. So then she found this old video on my YouTube channel. This one, this video from like 11 months ago. She found that. And then from that video, she found my Instagram. Okay. And then from my Instagram, she went scrolling and opted into, I don't know, I honestly don't know which post it was. I think actually it was this black background one, some really ugly post about some replay of some webinar that we had done. So anyway, I won't waste time scrolling that there now. But just to give you some context, like when it comes to like that activities log, what's really interesting is I see so many people spending time trying to attribute and putting all this like complicated data tracking in place before you have like a obviously, like for example, if we think about high level, right, and their business, you guys have like hundreds of millions per year in revenue business. Like you have a ability to have, well, as far as I'm aware, you have ability to have like a team of data people, right? Whereas like obviously if you're a smaller business, for example, like even my business, I wouldn't say that we weren't having a sort of data tracking team. However, the power of what we went through yesterday, the social media sales system, is having quality content everywhere means that if someone lands on the Instagram or if they like land on LinkedIn or whatever, they come and they see similar stuff everywhere and they see high value content on every platform. And then it's more likely that everything chips away together. Okay, so I just share that context because I see like potentially the trying to segment things too much is potentially like it's just not a very strong way of thinking about like social media. Instead, thinking about it all as like one ecosystem is just a more yes, something a bit more powerful. So now the next thing that we're going to talk about is paid ads actually. And so how we can use paid ads to amplify the whole process. And so Cam, I think maybe now would be a good time if I hand it over to you. We can talk about that side of things unless you want me to share any further context there.
No, I'm happy to take over there. I think what you've just shared is really important for the paid ad side as well, especially when you're getting started, even up to spends of tens of thousands every month. I think knowing that all of the activity plays a part in the customer journey and moving people through that funnel, because someone might watch an ad or they might consume a YouTube video or a piece of content, but then they don't take action then, but then they go into a meeting at work and their boss really pisses them off and they're like, I need to find something else to do. And then they get hit with your ad or your piece of content. So it's like you have to always tie it back to that context of when people are consuming things. I think it's really important to understand that even if your ads aren't like, you have to look at the whole revenue of the business, the whole cash collected, especially when we're looking at ads. What I'm going to walk through now is our ad infrastructure for this lead gen workshop that we're actually using. So I'm going to share my screen. You should be able to see that. Can you see that?
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah,
me.
cool. It is. So this is I'm just going to walk you through the campaign and show you this is what we do. This is what we're sending traffic to. Just to give you an overview as to the sort of numbers that we're doing. This is March, so last month. We're not spending loads on these ads, and the reason for that is because the machine is so efficient. We don't need to pump so much into the front end to get loads and loads of volume. We're still just from Facebook generating 250 calls in March from a very reasonable ad spend. So from $6,500, we generated over 1,000 leads and 250 appointments. Now, our setup with the paid ads is very straightforward, and I like to do things very simply with ads. I don't think there is a need for over complex systems, hundreds of ad sets, all that kind of thing. Facebook have spent billions on developing their systems, their AI, their algorithms, etc. When they give you the ability to make things simpler, I would usually listen to them. So, for example, our ad targeting is just country, and age. We don't do any interest targeting. We don't do any, I'll just open one of these up just
Cam,
to
while
show.
you do that, I'm just gonna share some context on like when Cam says this is simple. Um, when Cam and I first met, I texted him. I was like, Cam, I really need help with my ads. I feel like I should be running ads because basically what happened to me was my ad account got shut down in like 2017 or something because I was running some before and after photos on Facebook back when I was in fitness and I didn't realize I didn't like that. And so that's why I got so good at organic because I just didn't ever run ads because my ad account didn't work. And then finally I was like, oh, I really need to run ads. And, I essentially made a commitment actually at the beginning of this year. So my New Year's resolution, as it were, was to learn ads. And finally, I did it. Me and Cam were meeting a few times a week. We were learning how to do it. And now I'm actually, I will say, like, I'm running these ads myself. In the limited time that I have running a business with a decent sized team and a lot of stuff going on. And it takes me like, I check the account for a couple minutes each day. If I'm writing some new ad copy, it's taking me each week, maximum an hour. So just to give you some context, like this doesn't take a lot of time. And actually, Cam even showed me how to set it up on autopilot. So now the ad spend increases by itself. And yeah, so I'm just sharing that context just because like it is really, really easy. And personally, I had a lot of resistance to setting it up because I'm so good at organic that I was like, oh, I just don't want to be running ads. Like it kind of sounds scary to me. But no, honestly, I wish that I had done it sooner because in tandem with, oh my gosh, in tandem with the DM automations and the social media sales system, oh my gosh, this is literally a machine that you just never even need to worry about lead gen again. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And also for those of you that, we're gonna go, I think Cam's gonna show a couple of details around how they run ads, but if you're interested in learning more about ads and especially like the local space, local business space, we did a 3-day workshop with Ali Bloyd not too long ago, I think maybe back in November. And we spent 3 days going through every small detail about what you should learn about ads, what not to do, how to do retargeting, which platform to do what, how to pair it up with organic. So take a look at that as well if you get a chance. But to Lawrence and Cam's point, ads are meant to be a lot more simpler than what it used to be. You're not running like a big e-com set of ads where you're focused on abandoned cartons and like all these different like little pieces around acquisition. This when you do ads for a local offer like this or even for yourself, it's a lot more simpler. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Yeah, Paulson, and I'm just seeing some comments like, are Facebook ads good for B2B? How did you learn ads? Yes, good for B2B. And Cam's actually going to show you right now how to do the ads that you need. So yeah, you can just
Awesome.
watch this
Yeah.
and then it's going to be good.
What,
Love
yeah,
it.
what I'll do is I'll just walk you through this and then we'll just set up a campaign together. It will literally take me 5 minutes. The only thing that won't be here is obviously the creative, and I'm going to touch on that once I've walked you through this on how to come up with that because it's basically all built off of the organic stuff that you've already done. So from an ad set level, this is your targeting. We're literally, as I said, just optimizing for leads. We have dynamic creative on, and I'll tell you why in a second. Um, countries, age groups, and then language, and that's it. That's our ad set level. We don't do any uh local targeting or any interest targeting, any lookalikes, nothing, none of that.
Behaviors, yeah. Yeah.
And then from an ad level, we obviously have your page, and then the way that we do creatives, and this is why we use the dynamic creative, is we will have three creatives, whether it's images or videos or GIFs, but it will always be three of the same. So 3 videos, 3 images, 3 GIFs. We have 2 copy variations. These ones are very long copy, but 2 copy variations, and then 2 headline variations. When we look at the creative though, the way we come up with the creative all comes from the organic stuff. So obviously I wouldn't recommend starting ads until you've started to build a bit of traction with your organic, you've started to get clients because it is an outlay. You obviously have to spend some money. And then once you find the angles that work and the copy and the content that works on organic, we then look to bringing it into paid ads and amplifying that. The reason we build the ads separately and we don't just use the same organic posts. We can sometimes, but depending on what space you're on, there are certain terms and conditions that Facebook has for example, Lauren was saying earlier, her ad account got shut down for using before and afters. So you're not allowed to do that. You can't make big money claims. There are certain things that Facebook won't allow, and they will close your ad account down. So with paid ads, you can't do it, but on organic, there are less strict sort of things. So you might say something in an organic post that wouldn't fly in a paid ad. So what we do is we look at the post as a whole. So for example, the one that Lauren used with the calendar screenshots on, what you might do is look at that and go, okay, what is the angle here? And what is the hook, for example? And then you can build your creative based around that. So each ad set will be positioned on one angle. So for example, for the social media sales system, it might be the first angle is talking about how the algorithm's broken, or it's too costly, or it might be getting clients, or it might be spending too much time. So whatever the angle is, you would create an ad set and a series of ads for each one of those. The and that's pretty much it. And then what we do once a week, pretty much, if we have a winning ad set. So you can see, let's just look here from a spend perspective. Variation 3 is crushing everything else. So it has generated 220 of the 244 appointments. So this is a winning campaign. So we might test one new creative. And when I say creative, like 3 images, 2 copies, and 2 headlines. We might duplicate this once a week. And basically, if we launch that and it doesn't beat this, we'll just turn it off and we'll do that again next week, because we're always trying to look to get better. But if something's working, there's no point testing it. There's no point over testing if you are well within the KPIs that you want to hit. And I think that's one thing that I look at, and it's a discussion Lauren and I have had recently, is finding that number within your business that is right. This is our North Star KPI, and we know that the system is going to work on the back end. So for us, our North Star KPI is number of impact calls every week. And that's what we're optimizing for, whether it's organic or paid, we're optimizing for that number. So if we are, say, for example, your goal was 100 calls a month at $200. If this was running at $150 per call, would it be nice to improve that? Yes. Is it within KPI? Yes. So then we're not going to be testing daily. We'll test weekly to continue improving, but there are probably other bottlenecks within the business that are a bigger focus or a bigger need to fix. So it's just a case of prioritizing. And like Lauren said, with the accounts that I run, I probably spend in the actual ad account a grand total of 20 minutes a week per client. And it's not a time heavy thing once you have this process. So it's building systems into what you're doing. And it's just then a case of, all right, I need to write 2 pieces of copy, which can be the same copy with just a different lead, 3 images, and 2 headlines. So if you look at it like that, it's a very simple system to launching campaigns. And this works in lead gen, it works for call booking, all those.
Yeah, and the part that I think a lot of people overlook when it comes to ads is the strength of the offer. This thing is only working because the offer is so good, period. And it's relevant to the audience that their ads are running to. So if you have, A lot of people, the way I recommend you looking at Facebook ads or Google ads or YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, LinkedIn, doesn't matter, any advertising of any kind, is you need to look at it as like a science project. How many of y'all remember the science classes back in the days of, the teacher teaching you have independent variables, you have dependent variables, and you have a hypothesis, and you have some rules around what could be changed. Most people, when they run ads, they change too many variables at the same time or too often, and they just don't let the system ride out, right? You have to let it ride out on the original hypothesis that you decided on. Even Zoom is agreeing to what I gotta say. Okay, so thanks. I did my update, so it does all these like crazy like features. I mean, little fireworks. But anyways, it's the most important thing. Consider PPC to be a science project. First thing, none of this stuff will work if no one's resonating with your offer. Then on top of that, if you send it to the wrong audience, or better yet, a lot of people just load up, a custom audience of full of people that are not even relevant to them or the offer itself, or they switch the audience, or they switch the offer on the audience, and it's not necessarily the right thing to do. But I would look at it as, okay, what does my science project look like? I'm changing too many things at once. Let me write it out. And if you don't have the budget for it to at least test out maybe at least two things, I wouldn't touch ads until you organically kind of curated some strength in your offers.
Yeah, for sure. And the the um the other thing I would also think about with this, and it also depends on the kind of business that you're running. So one of the companies that I run ads for, if you statistically look at the numbers in the ad account, they don't look that compelling. We're getting like a 1.3 ROAS or something. But because their audience is they're based around the world, their audience is global. Most of them like to phone up the company to make sure that it's not a scam, that they're talking to someone real. So most of their sales come through the phone. And this comes back to the point of like understanding the overall metrics. So you're not just looking at the ads as well, because your ads will improve your organic, they'll improve your email, and vice versa. Um, so what I'll do now, do you think it'd be useful, Paulson, just to walk through setting up a campaign from scratch?
Let's see. Give me a yes in the chat if you want us to go through and set up a campaign, because that will take away from the Q&A time we have set apart. So you tell us what you want. You want us to do a Q&A around organic strategies, or do you want us to kind of elaborate a bit more on paid ads? Let's see.
And while that's pulling on through, I'll also say what's been really, really interesting is I personally used to obsess over, knowing exactly how much does each lead cost when I like with the ad side, how much is each lead, how much is each appointment, et cetera, et cetera. And what's been really interesting is I've been testing some DM ads. And it's been so fascinating because people they come in for the DM ad and then they get the automated response and then they come in again from an organic post. So it's again this case of if your organic is strong, then the ads will be a lot cheaper, which is why the strategy that we went through yesterday will really, really help in case you want to improve the paid ads that you're running, whether it's for you or even for your clients, because I know there's a lot of people here who are running agencies. So that's just something else to share. But yeah, Paulson, how are we looking with the
Yeah,
responses?
I've got a lot of people saying yes. Show us the ads, I guess, because today is about scaling, so ads are definitely part of it. So yeah, let's go through and take a few moments and just go over the campaigns, and then we can still try to do.
It did, and the beauty of this structure, I think I learned this from a chap called Charles. I can't remember his last name. Um, it's so easy to set up, so this won't take long. So the um obviously the first thing is deciding on the conversion metric. We're going for leads because we're sending it to our workshop. So if we've got to this point when we're scaling, we probably have some form of evergreen or a workshop or something. So we're going to use leads. I use the manual leads campaign setup. And right, we're going to just give it a name. So I usually just identify it as my campaign. And then from a naming structure, I would just call it funnel. So let's say, for example, it's the social media sales system, social media sales system. And then we would do big four. So that's like targeting. What countries are we targeting? And then we might do male and female. And that's pretty much it for oh, and then the conversion. So we're gonna go to conversion leads. Advantage campaign budget we will turn on and we'll put our budget. We usually start probably you can start at 20. Obviously, if you've run this a lot before and you know that you can spend a lot, you can obviously put whatever budget here you want. But if you're just starting out, I would sort of start $20, $25 a day. And then that's it for campaign. Then we're gonna look at the ad set. So we're gonna go ad set, come on, website, and then select the pixel. Okay, Facebook crashes.
Classic.
Yeah. I was on a client call doing this the other week when Facebook actually went down, and everyone on the call was just like, "Has our account just been shut down?" We all went into panic mode and then went to Twitter and found out, no, we're all good.
Oh my gosh.
So ad set, we'll just do big four, and then we'll set our variations. So because we have, or angles, however you want to call it, use whichever word you want. So no time, let's for example, we'll just use that for easy identifying which angles are winning. Website, select your pixel. Conversion event, we're going to use lead. Obviously, you need to make sure all of the lead pixels and things are set up for your funnel, but I'm sure there are trainings and YouTube and things like that where you can find those. Dynamic creative, we're going to turn on. Location, that stays the same. Age, you can edit this from a minimum. If you want to change more, you can go to switch to original audience. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next few months this goes away and you only get this. They're obviously constantly removing interest options. So if you want to be more specific with regards to if you don't want to go over a specific age, you can put that in here. And then placements, we just leave as normal. If you are running a very specific kind of ad, so if you wanted to run a story ad or a Reels ad that was 15 seconds long, offering a lead magnet of some sort, you can change the placements, but we found best to just leave it as all placements. And then from an ad level, we're going to select the page. So we'll go for Lauren's pages and then select our images. Let's go. I'll just use 3 random ones for now. So we use 3 images and then primary text. This would be your copy 1. This would be your copy 2. This would be your headline 1. And this would be your headline 2. And then obviously enter the URL. So for us, it would be this one. None, learn more, and then just make sure you've got your website events turned on. But that's literally it. Once you've got one created, the easiest thing to do, I would say, make sure you launch with a minimum of 3 variations. So duplicate this, and then you obviously need to edit the level here. So maybe this angle is more clients, and then this angle is how can we do this? Using setters, for example. Then just change your ads out and then click publish. It's literally really straightforward. There's not much more to it than that. The time is spent on the copy and the creative, but you've already done that with all the organic and everything that Lawrence taught you over the last 2 days. So you just take those concepts, you take that copy, and you can test it here with the offer being the workshop or whatever it is that you're promoting.
So, Kim, I've got a question for you. So, what does the back end of this lead management look like inside of high level? So, let's say leads start coming in. Do you have a separate set of automations for paid ads or PPC? Or are you running them through the same exact automations?
Same automation. So the evergreen goes through this automation. We do
Camera.
use
Just so you know, we can still see the Facebook screen in case you changed to high level. We don't see high level,
oh,
just in
why is that not working?
And just while you bring that up, Cam, like it's super interesting because I just wouldn't have believed that setting up the ads was that simple. But really, that's like literally it. Like that's just the ads that we run, and that's how we're getting calls booked for what, $25. When that's very, very low compared to like industry standard. And I will say as well, obviously the organic helps, and we take what performs on organic, and then we use that as the angles for paid, as Cam mentioned. And yeah, the majority of the time when it comes to running the ads is really thinking of the ideas, which isn't necessarily even a time thing. It's more these ideas just kind of come to you when you're like, oh, that organic thing worked. And then, you get a few ideas from seeing what works on the organic, and then sitting down to write the copy is what takes the most time. And yeah, like when it comes down to the automations and such, like I think Camden, we just duplicate the workflow from like we duplicate the funnel, don't we, for ads and organic so that we can differentiate and track back.
Yeah. So the only difference, so we send them through the same automation. We duplicate usually the trigger, so the form, and we'll have a different form on the funnel. So we'll have a landing page for organic. We'll have a landing page for ads, maybe Facebook, another one for if you're running YouTube. It's just a good way to be able to differentiate. And then we run them through the same automation, but we do use UTMs. So we use UTMs to track, and in the section we were talking about earlier, the activity section, they will show up there. If someone opts in through UTM, the UTM will show. So you will be able to see where they've opted in for. So it can give you some data, but we don't necessarily optimize based off of that. It's more so just for an overview feeling as to where the majority are coming from.
Totally. And then there's like some questions about, when do we post the ads, what time and stuff. And it's just they always run. We never turn off an ad that does well, because if an ad's performing and it's operating within KPIs, like we literally we will not turn that off. I have some friends that are still running Black Friday offer ads because those ads are still bringing in leads that are so cheap. So, I mean, I see this on my organic. Like there's an Instagram post on my Instagram page that says, I'm not running a Black Friday offer. Instead, get this thing for free. And people are still commenting on that to this day. We still get people commenting or messaging from that post. So, yeah, Paulson, I mean, I think maybe now would be a good time to like go into Q&A. And before we do that, I'll just say like one final word. Doing this and writing the organic, writing the ads with the frameworks that we have laid out over the last few days, I would strongly encourage using your manual personal typing to do that through taking the problems that you hear your prospects hear. Like, I mean, we did a massive demo of this yesterday. So if you haven't seen that, I would recommend going through that. You will see better results and clients who know more about you and your company's expertise than if you're using AI. Because the worst thing is if you make an AI post and you don't edit and check it properly, and it talks about something that's not your zone of genius, then you've kind of just shot yourself in the foot there because a client might have a wrong expectation. I've just seen people using AI before they've mastered like copywriting, and copywriting is such a valuable skill to have. So I would say get good at it, and then also you'll start to feel when you write something and you get it out there through organic social media, does it pull in the right type of leads and clients for your business, and you're able to just keep a closer pulse on everything that you do. So yeah.
I love that. Give us a yes in the chat, in the comments if you feel like, you've learned some new nuggets, you've got some takeaways, you're like, you know what, Paulson, Lauren, Cam, I've got some implementation I got to do, or I got some ideas for even later that I want to do. Give us a yes in the chat if so far the last 3 days now of items were at least helpful for you. And then what we will do is spend the next 15, 20 minutes or so going through and doing a Q&A. So let's start Q&A now. What I want you to do is if you have a question, go to the Facebook page. We have the live streaming there. And I want you to type in the letter Q or the word question and then type the question out. And what I will do is rapid fire with Lauren and Cam, and we'll get through as many questions as possible. We've got a ton of people saying, yes, thank you. This was top level stuff. Okay, great, great feedback that I'm getting and Lauren's getting. So awesome. So type in the word Q along with the question, or type in the word question along with the question. So let us know what your question is. Okay. David White is asking, what is an impact call? What exactly is an impact meeting? So, David, I would recommend watching day 1 and 2's content because that's literally what we spend several hours talking about. But idea is basically an introductory call, a strategy call. Cam or Lauren, how do you differentiate impact call versus any other calls? Maybe that's a better question.
Yeah, so an impact call is designed to qualify a prospect so that I mean, maybe this resonates. Maybe you have been in the position where you've got onto sales calls with people, you go through like a 30-minute discovery, 15-minute pitch at the end, 15 minutes of them asking you questions, and then they're just like, oh yeah, well, I just don't think it's a fit, or oh, I need to speak to my spouse, I need to speak to my partner. Instead, if you do an impact call, you qualify the prospect instead. So I've seen people offer like free coaching sessions or discovery calls or whatever, or triage calls, but those calls don't really properly qualify. Instead, use an impact call to qualify so that only you're ever speaking to people that are ready to buy, that are a good fit for your offer, and they're going to get on that call. And the only reason why they wouldn't buy is if you weren't good at clearly presenting why your solution can help them.
Awesome. Let's see. What would be the good pricing structure for this service? Well, that's a broad question. What are the price ranges you recommend in general for these type of services in general? I mean, like low ticket, high ticket, mid ticket. Let's just answer that. It doesn't have to be specific numbers.
Yeah, so typically we work with clients who are selling more premium packages. And so the way that we do things is we essentially have our clients rank themselves depending on their level of authority in the industry. So if you have no brand online, no presence, no proof of client results, like you would rank yourself number one. And then you could see the type of pricing that you might want to charge. So we also have like recommendations as to how often you should be doing one-on-one personally as the business owner with them. So like, the lower range, if you're in the offer validation stage, would be 1,000 to 2,800. And that would be for an offer, not per month. That would be for like an actual offer. Obviously, if it's per month, we have like it would be something slightly different to that. This is designed for people who are selling like a 4-week or an 8-week or a 12-week or a sort of a 6-month offer. When it comes to like the monthly pricing, obviously you would just basically consider this as like a kind of an 8-week plan. So you could just break it up to be like $500 a month or $1,400 a month. So that would be like the lower bound and the upper bound if you're in the offer validation stage. Okay, then once you've validated the offer, the price increases a bit. And then simultaneously, if there's different rankings, like depending on your level of authority. So I'll just quickly like go through these so that people can then, look at, as it changes, as you get more
Ranges, yeah.
authority. Yeah. So it's a big question. And obviously there's always going to be like unique, nuanced answers to that. But these prices here are like, yeah, more for programs. And obviously if it's for a monthly service, we still do tend to recommend our clients get their clients into like at least the first 6 months having that paid up front, because it's just so good for cash flow for your business when you're first starting out. And then after the first 6 months, getting it onto auto payment on the back end. Because the worst thing as an agency is having a client join for a month and then leave, because there's so much extra time that goes into the first month. But then obviously having like a onboarding fee, it can be a solution, but the problem with the onboarding fee is that, like, a lot of people, that creates so much resistance. So how can you just make it easier? Have them pay for 6 months up front or a year up front, and then after there it goes into rolling every 4 weeks. So I hope that answers that question.
Yep, that helps. And those of you that are interested, we do have a 5-day challenge that's coming up next week where we do teach like local marketing and how to go into the world of local with like a SaaS offer. And it's going to be AI driven, and we talk about pricing there with a lot of the SaaS stuff. It's pretty much low ticket, and then you climb them into a high ticket once you've kind of developed a relationship. So if you want info on that, I can share that as well. Roger's asking, if you created a smart list, how do you add new people to it, Cam? How do you add people to a new list of tag, which I think is pretty simple, right? You just assign the contact to a new tag, add tag, or
Yeah. Yeah, you've basically just answered it. You're pretty much a tech wizard now, Paulson. But
do you want to just
uh,
share your screen and just show how the tagging
yeah,
works? I think maybe that question seems so simple that I feel like maybe I'm overlooking it. Yeah. So if you want to
yeah.
go here,
So it depends on how they're entering it. If you're wanting to do it via an automation, in the automation, you can set an action to add the tag, and then that tag will assign. Obviously, you can select here uh the person, and then you can choose the tag here. Um
and you can choose multiple tags if you want, and even throw them
yeah.
into action, right?
So you have the action is like the name, you're basically naming it.
Got it. Got it.
And then that tag should show up on this contact. So you can see here.
Yep.
Or the other option is if you're having a conversation and let's say their Instagram is attached here, you could do it on the side here as well. And you can just add the tag here and it will add it. One thing to note when you're adding tags, if you have any automations that are triggered by tags, you just need to be conscious of that. If you add tags randomly, that it may trigger an automation. So just keep that in
Yep.
mind.
Yep. Okay, cool. And just a reminder, I see some folks raising their hands inside of the Zoom. We're not doing hand raises anymore. I want you to go into the Facebook page and ask your questions there. Someone's asking, what are some good questions to ask on a impact call?
Okay, I can try and blitz this real fast if you want.
Sure.
Okay. So, let me just share my screen.
Mhm.
Okay. So we want to go through perfect, and perfect is their problem, evidence that they know why we're like a good fit of helping them, results. So how would they define results? Um, Fit, are they good fit? Everybody involved. So like, is there any other decision maker here? Commitment. So what are they already doing? And then like how soon do they want to get started? Okay. So when it comes down to the questions to ask, the way I think through qualifying is optimizing for outcomes rather than optimizing for specific questions. Okay, so we can obviously have a script and everything, and I think that's good. But at the end of the day, you don't want to be so attached to the script that if they say something that's off script, then you get thrown off, right? So how can you get those things out of them that I just shared and ask questions to get people to reveal that and make sure that by the end of the call, you've revealed all of those things?
Awesome. Quick question. Do you run all this in a separate prospecting sub account for yourself as a company, or do you have separate ones to keep leads separately from clients? So ideally, yes, as a marketing service provider of whatever kind, you need to have your own sales department and marketing in place, and that's going to be your own sub account versus your clients. Um, let's say someone said, how do you edit the thank you page to redirect them to a home page or let them know to check their emails for a link for following form? So it's through the automations, right, Cam?
Yeah, and it's set up already in the snapshot as well.
Okay, awesome. Let's see here. Let me refresh my screen. Let's see. I see a ton of questions coming in.
The link to upgrade, I just shared it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, for those
Oh,
of you that do not
we
have
need to pump
high
so much
level,
in.
Sorry.
oh, you're good. For those of you that don't have a high level account, the link is Lauren Tickner offer, and that's inside the chat, and it's part of the descriptions as well. Let's see here. Sorry, you guys. My comments, my Facebook page is kind of freezing here with the live stream. Okay, someone said, how can we access the resources from today if we're already subscribed to the highest high level plan? Well, just as promised, we're going to release the actual collaterals and all the resources. So if you are in the Zoom chat, I'm going to paste the domain. So if you go to gohighlevel.com/Lauren Tickner resources, you'll be able to go in there and see the snapshot that's part of this workshop, along with throughout the rest of the day, we'll add more collaterals or whatever that is part of the session that we might have promised. So pretty soon you'll be able to see almost everything, and that's where you want to grab those links and snapshot links and install it, all of that. Someone says for the posts that you shared on previous days, would you recommend scheduling the posts in advance or post them daily? What is your, I guess, for the content scheduling, right?
I prefer to post things daily just purely because then as you post, you can be cognizant of people that are coming in, because if a lot of leads are coming in from that specific post, somehow psychologically it gives you this, I don't know what it is, but it just gives you this clarity of the marketing angle that can help your business continue to scale. Now, obviously, if you're super busy, yeah, of course, like you could give it a go scheduling. I just can't really comment on that because for me personally, I've just stuck to posting manually and posting it day by day. And I've just seen such great results from that that I'm in this position where it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And like I've really mastered this system so much that I'm not trying to, test something to potentially have it go wrong. So
Absolutely. Okay. Someone says, besides the snapshot, are there possibilities for us to access your different programs or be able to communicate with you, Lauren, on maybe an impact call themselves? So is there a way for them to touch base with you outside of, I guess, high level workshop, which I think is pretty cool?
yeah, the easiest thing to do is if you shoot a message to my Instagram, then we can have a chat for sure. Just message my Instagram is at Lauren Tickner. I'm pretty accessible, so just ping me a message there. I will say I am not a high level support team. If you ask me
Yeah.
questions about high level for support, that's very much not going to be the place to go. Paulson, you guys
Yeah.
have a really
I'll
great website for that?
Yeah, which is speakwith.us/success. And whenever you go to it, it should look like this. Okay. So let me just share my screen real quick.
Yeah.
Well, let me go to incognito mode.
Yeah, and they have High Level has like a 24/7 support Zoom room where you can
Yeah.
actually go and get like an answer from a high level. You guys have like a massive tech team. So yeah, if you shoot me a message, like please just let's speak strategy. Like let's talk strategy stuff, not like
Yeah.
how can I click a button and change a color? Because really I'm definitely not the best one to ask about that question.
Yeah, so if you this is the domain right here. If you want any high level help or support, it's speakwith.us/success. And when you come here, the system will ask you to log in. And when you log in, our system will pick up who you are, where you are in your journey, and will decide what kind of an agent you should get based on, let's say you've been here for 5 days versus 3 years. we have all that technology to be able to recognize who you are, what you're stuck with before you even talk to a live agent. So when you go to a live agent, it's like, hey, I know you're in the middle of setting up your first snapshot. What's happening? It's like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's
So
super,
yeah, yeah.
that's
So
really
jump into that. Don't bother Lauren with any of this. She's already doing enough with the workshops and providing a ton of resources. And I wouldn't say bother Cam either, although he seems like he's a lot more resourceful than I am.
that's
Okay,
awesome.
cool. Let's see. Would this work? Okay, I've got somebody asking, would this work for local businesses, or do you feel like this is more of a online service provider kind of a offer or, ecosystem? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so like my expertise and my company's expertise is like online businesses, so people that are generating clients online. Now, with that said, what's really, really interesting is we have a lot of clients who like they have a business coaching business. Like, so they've had, like, I'll give you an example just to illustrate this. So, like, I have this one client, her name's Winnie, and she has multiple different like clinics, right? For like physiotherapy. And since she started using this system to get more clients for her coaching, she's now generated tons of additional clients for her clinics. So, as a byproduct of following this system, it's brought her in local business clients. So, can I say that it works like just for a local business? I haven't tried, honestly, because my clients just don't really do that. But I can tell you that she's accidentally got clients from this system for a different business for her local business. So, from that, I would say, to be honest, if she was probably actually focusing on the local business, it would probably work really, really well. I just haven't tried.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Let's see, there's more questions coming here. Let's see, where can I find the replays? It should be in the High Levels YouTube channel, so take a look at that. Let's see. I don't know why my Facebook page on
I
my
can see them if you want, Paulson. I've got one here from Erica that
yeah.
says, for B2B, if you don't have Facebook followers but over 1,000 in LinkedIn, would organic LinkedIn posts be better than Facebook ads? And yeah, Erica, you should definitely catch up on yesterday's session that we did because I literally spoke exactly about this specific question. You really don't need to run ads. We just did that today about scaling. Yesterday should be more than enough. And I actually even broke down the exact, and on the day before session, even the last two sessions are good for you because I showed how one of my clients, for example, got 75 inbound leads from one LinkedIn post, organic, no ads. So you should for sure check that one out, Erica. It will really, really help you. She's B2B as well. So just same as you. She doesn't even have a Facebook account.
Yep. Which I think is pretty awesome. So for some reason, my mobile is not letting me go to older comments. It's just
I'll
like keeping me at the exact one. So
hmm.
if you want to pull up some of those questions, that'll be helpful, Lauren. It's not
There's a
letting me
question
go to
that's
old
saying
ones.
like, what do we do once we imported the snapshot? So I would maybe ask you, Paulson, once they've imported a snapshot. Um, that's a
Once
question.
they've, yeah, once they've imported the snapshot, what you want to do is create a beta contact of some kind and or opt into all of your pages and kind of test out, make sure automations are firing off once you're live and things like that. So once it's set up, you want to test the setup, see if it's working. So there's any issues, maybe the first name doesn't show up properly or the time zone's off or whatever. You want to go through and test your setup. And after that, it's just the efforts, right? It's the efforts of getting into sales activities and content posting and then making sure your offer is accurate. So then at that point, you want to kind of formulate your offers and things like that. So I think we have, if I don't have any followers and an email list, would you recommend testing this with a group of friends? Um, Thoughts on that for someone that's brand new starting out, Lauren?
I personally don't like selling to friends because um
Yep.
I don't know. I would just stick to the system that we went through yesterday and start building your audience. There's also another question here which like somewhat relates, which says, how do you balance between educational slash informative content and promotional content to maintain audience engagement while driving lead generation? And the social media sales system is designed specifically to that. The reason why is because it segments your audience into strangers who have never seen you before, people that already follow you and like you, and then those that are already ready to buy right now. They just need to see an offer. So if you stick to the templates that I gave to you, then you will literally have everything that you need with that system already like pre-baked into it. And also that system itself grows your audience. So you don't need to worry if you don't have an audience right now, because people will start seeing your content. And then what you can do is a concept that we call outbound on inbound. So it's where you reach out to the people that are engaging with your posts and that are following you. So if you followed my Instagram, for example, the chances are very high that you're going to get a message from my Instagram. And sometimes it's me, sometimes it's somebody from my team just saying, hey, thanks so much for following. What are you here for? To get more clients, more leads, or more sales from social media? Or are you just here to get value from the content? Right. And that's how you can then start the conversation, find out if they have a problem that you can solve, and if they're a fit to work with you. And if they are, then you can get them on an impact call. And that's how you can still book in 2, 3, 4, 5 impact calls a day, even if you are just starting out and you don't have a big audience, because you can also reach out to the people that like the post, that comment on the post. So in the beginning, yeah, there's going to be some more manual work, but you just have to think about, you have to do the work today that you haven't done in the past. Because for example, somebody like for example, if you go on any of my socials, I have a decent sized audience there. So for me, I can make a post and I can get inbound leads. And I have that benefit because I've spent a decade, and actually more than a decade, posting on social media. I've made more than 50,000 posts. So if you're in the earlier stages, you'll have to spend a bit more time doing that manual extra effort, but it pays dividends. So you put in the work today, that in the future you won't have to do forever. So I hope that that answers
Yeah,
that.
1000%. And just real quick, for those of you that haven't taken advantage of this trial, in case if you're watching wherever you're watching from, the workshop that we're doing right now has a 30-day trial and it comes with all the snapshots. And I know we release the snapshots, but you still need a high-level account to be able to use a snapshot. So either way, that comes with all the automations, emails, all the messaging, everything we taught the last couple of days. So any final thoughts that you want to share, Lauren or Cam, on this whole idea of the new client machine using, social media, and then we can kind of close out with your final thoughts there.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you have everything that you need now to be successful, and the backbone of this system is high level. And like I said before, I mean, I tried a ton of different softwares and everything, and it just nothing is as efficient as high level, especially with the snapshot that we're giving you. So if you've never used high level before, then I would recommend using the free trial and jumping on that. We just shared the link. It's gohighlevel.com/Lauren Tickner offer. Just go to that and take the 30-day free trial. Like Paulson said, usually it's 14 days, but we're giving you 30 days. They've been kind enough to do that. And just remember, when you get in there, you might be like, whoa, this is a lot. And that's why it makes sense for you to go to the onboarding calls. Go and speak with their team on one of those sessions, like speak with .us/success. Go and ask the questions there, because if you get your questions answered by the high level team, the chances are high that you're going to be more successful with using high level. Because if you go in there and like try and figure this stuff out all by yourself, if a client came to you and asked you, how do I, if a client came to you and started working with you and then just never even showed up or did any of the things that you needed them to do, would they be successful, right? No, the answer is no. So you really need to make the most of actually getting the help. And obviously we've made it much simpler for you by giving you the snapshot. And then from there, you just need to stick to the system that we've trained on, the social media posting, sending the emails, etc. The real key thing is just being consistent with it. But this has been really fun and I'm grateful. And if there's any other questions, yeah, go ahead. Please make sure to ask them. And I'm just grateful for everyone for being here, for showing up, for taking action. And
Yeah.
that's what's going to drive your business forward.
Yeah, Cam, final thoughts on all the back end automations and some of the things that you've seen as trends and patterns when it comes to social media and being using that for generating calls.
Yeah, I think to sort of power Lauren's point really with the consistency is the big thing. You've got the systems, you've got everything set up. Once you've built the automations, they are and they're in place, like just stick with it. Go, keep going, and you will start to build traction. The one thing with the automations, I would just say, don't get overwhelmed. The things will break. It's not going to be perfect first time. Just don't overly stress about it. As Lauren said, that your high level team is always on hand. They're really useful and helpful in resolving problems. So take use of that. And yeah, can't wait to see the progress and the success of everyone that
Yeah.
attended.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep us posted as well. Like, we'd love to hear about the results that you get. Like, I would love also personally to, see any cool posts that you share that get a lot of results. And, if you need help or something, like, feel free to reach out. Like I said, I will most likely see it if you contact me on Instagram to help. But not with high level questions. Please go to high level because it will just be more efficient for everybody. Because like a lot of people messaged me yesterday, like, how do I get the snapshot and everything? And seriously, like, yeah, Paulson, if anyone's have any more questions about that, is the
Yeah.
best place to still go to
Yeah.
speakwithus.success.
If you're looking for snapshots from the workshop because you already have an account or you have the highest account or whatever, go to
Yeah.
gohighlevel.com/Lauren Tickner resources. We've commented that into all the comments and channels and everything. And that's basically a Google Drive that we have set up for all of our customers. And it's got the snapshots in it. If you need help jumping into a call with someone here at High Level, you can go to speakwith.us/success. Whether you come or not, we deal with thousands of calls anyway, so you might as well take advantage of it. It doesn't bother us if you jump in and just, get in there a couple of times. No, no big deal. But Lauren, first of all, I mean, well, last but not least, but as a high level family, we want to say thank you to you for taking the last almost a month or even longer prepping for this workshop, showing up and doing your thing, and we crushed it for the last 3 days. Cam, you as well. You guys were both so easy to work with and so resourceful, and you provided a ton of things to the community. So we're appreciative of that. I don't know if we will see you in person at our conference or our mastermind. I know you were there last year, but I'm hoping to see you guys again this year as well. But thank you so much for your time and efforts.
Thanks so much for having us. This has been super fun. And yeah, I'm loving seeing the results, like seeing and hearing about the results that people are getting with the system just lights me up. So I appreciate you for you guys who are sharing it all. And yeah, look, I mean, high level, your event was really, really great. And I hope to come back again. So yeah,
Absolutely.
this has been great. And thank you so much. This has been
All
fantastic. So
right. And
grateful.
and
Your
one
community are awesome as well. They really show up and take action. So yeah, respect for that.
Love it. And just FYI, and this is a final note, this offer for this workshop does have an expiration, right? So after Friday, you don't get the ability to take advantage of this offer. It will expire. So don't come back a couple of weeks from now and say, hey, I want Lauren's snapshot and this and that. You have to take advantage of this offer right now, right here, and it'll expire on Friday, Friday midnight, I believe, Eastern Standard Time. But anyways, thanks for jumping in to another one of our workshops. This one was about the new client machine, leveraging social media to generate new calls. Next week, we have a 5-day AI challenge. And if you haven't found any information about that, I would say grab the links in the main official community. If you go to gohighlevel.com/events, you'll also see a public calendar of all of our events that happen every single week. Almost every single day, we have an event happening in reality. But either way, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. You can catch all the replays on YouTube and hashtag replay if you're watching later. But Cam, Lauren, thank you so much for saying yes to us and showing up and crushing it. Take care. Bye for now.